everybody, this is Michelle with Creative Operation, and this morning I wanted to give you a quick overview of my room. So I have completed putting like 90% of the stuff, well, actually all of it's in my room, but there's a few things I still need to tweak in some drawers and stuff. But I have my room pretty much reorganized, and like I said, there's a few things I need to fix, but I will do that later. But I got everything in where I want them to be. I have things organized, and I thought I would give you a real quick tour of what my room looks like. And as I go through, I'll tell you the things that I'm still going to fix. But this is my room. It's pretty big. It's about the size of two kind of standard bedrooms. It does have a big closet, and in my previous video I showed you my closet. I did add a few things in there as I was going, but for the most part I took a ton of stuff out, and I still have some empty bins. But I'm standing here right by my door, so I'm going to turn around and show you at the beginning what my door looks like. And it's closed right now because what I did was I redid my ribbon storage. So I had this in my old craft room in my old house before I moved here like 11 years ago. I put some rods up and then hung my ribbons on the back of my door, and it's going to be in a much better spot because that area that I told you that I had all my ephemera on is now all of, like, this area right here is where every single flower and ribbon, except for one jar, is. And I've got it all organized. As you guys know, I'm a designer for Country Craft Creations, so I'm trying to keep everything separated between what is my stash and what is their stash. And so I've got this handy dandy cart, which is all organized. The very top shelf is all Country Craft Creations seam binding, buttons, flowers, and then up here I have laces and things like that that I bought from them. And then everything else behind it is all stuff for my stash. And I totally forgot I had so many flower items, but it's really nice to be able to go to my stash, and I have them organized by color even, so I can go in and pick what I need. And I did actually go through my ribbons, and there were some fibers and things that there was no way I was ever going to make or use, excuse me. So I got rid of those and I thinned down the herd. And so now when my doors open, it kind of closes that, and I don't have to look at it, because sometimes that makes me feel like it's cluttered. I don't know if that makes sense, but having it behind the door is a great idea. So I just use command hooks and some really nice little curtain rods and just hung those up with some clips, and they're all cut in roughly 1 yard lengths, which is usually what I use anyway. And now I can just go through and just kind of see which one fits my project, and it's really nice. So I like that. Above my door I have that cute little sign that my sister Shandy gave me, and I have that up again. I love it, and it's been in my craft room ever since I've had a craft room. So then over here, this particular area is my rubber stamps in the drawers. For the most part, I do have a couple drawers, like one drawer for Halloween and one drawer for Christmas, that I have not only stamps, but I have like punches and things like that, so they're kind of in one area. But then I also have all my embossing folders and my die cuts, or excuse me, my dies for die cutting. And then you see that album right there? That album here, that was made by fellow designer Kim Rannells, and I made this a long time ago, like before I was even a designer, and I'll see if I can find that tutorial for you. And I made it because I want to do some Hawaii pictures that I went on a trip with my best friend Jackie, and I want to put my Hawaii pictures in there. And I had found that in my vacation bin that I'll show you in a minute, and I got it out because I really need to put my my pictures in there. But anyways, this is my die cuts and my embossing folders in the one on the left there, and then my stamps. And then over here, this is kind of a mess and I still need to clean this up. I'm going to go to IKEA and I'm going to get some better storage for that area, but I've got like my embroidery floss and things like that in there, twine, extra things like that. And then right here, I have like my staplers, my, you like my pointer? My Zutter Bind It All. I don't even have a cinch. I still have a Zutter. I have my long arm staplers, my booklet staplers, and then I've got like all my O-rings and stuff like that are in here, things like that. And then all of these are my punches, my decorative scissors, you know, my flower punches, all that stuff. I've got that in there. And then I also kind of reorganized my desk. So a lot of the things that were on my desk, like my crocodiles that I don't use very often, are now in a drawer and I can get to them. I'm going to have all my stuff that I need like all the time on my desk. And I got my desk uncluttered. It was great. So then I have this here. This is obviously my die cut machine, my Big Shot. On the top shelf here, I'm going to go around. All of the stuff from Country Craft Creations, all the dies that I bought from them are there, and those are what I use primarily. And then I have a whole gob down here that I use more often than not. So they're my most commonly used ones that I use. So I have it all in one place, and I love the fact that now it's all in one spot and it's on a rolling cart, so I can just drag it over to my desk and you know, use it. So then if I turn around, so there's my door again. I'm standing in front of my closet. This is kind of where the action happens here. This is my paper crafting area. And I have my desk like completely beautiful now, and it's not cluttered. And I've got a new project coming for a friend of mine has asked me to make a baby album, so I'm going to recreate my latest tutorial, which you see on the desk right there, and I'm going to make that for her, and so I'll share that when I'm done. But down here, all of the stuff on the bottom here is all of my 7 gypsies. You remember them, guys? Tim Holtz and then Graphic 45 collections that I have. And then I have a box of storage for score tape, and then these 3 here are now empty. So like I actually have room to grow. Most of this back here is Country Craft Creations stuff that you know, like the artisan cardstock, things that I have purchased with like mystery boxes, and you know, other things that I have purchased, kits that I got from them, all of that stuff. So that's basically kind of my main working areas where I go to get all my papers here. And then up above, I've got some stuff that I need to go through, but then I've got a bin of my different cutting tools. And then this one right here is full of travel and vacation stuff that I've collected, and that's where Kim's album came from. And then of course I've got my favorite singer on the wall. I found that at a local vintage shop and I had to put that on the wall. I love Meatloaf and he was one of my favorites. So I found that it's actually sheet music, and I framed it and put it in my craft room. So I had to have that. And then you can see here that's where I sit. And then I did do some reorganizing. I got rid of a bunch of stuff, and then I was able to put some of my tools in the cubbies here. And again, I'm going to probably do something different. I've got a trip to IKEA in my future. I want to get new bins and make this all pretty. But anyway, which when I cleared these out, that really gave me some space on my desk. And so now my desk is like a lot bigger and more open, and I'm going to have a lot more room to work, which is nice. I've got my stack cutter set up, so now it's not like really in the way, but it's ready to go whenever I want it, because I do like to make notebooks and things like that, which is fun. So yeah, I've got a new camera arm on order, and it's coming Wednesday, so I'm going to have that too. So I can't really video a tutorial until Wednesday, so we'll try that out. Up on the top there, this corner right here is all Christmas stuff, and you guys wouldn't believe it, but I actually had it stacked clear to the ceiling full of Christmas stuff. And some of the stuff was like, I am never going to use this. So I did weed all that out. And then over here is my Halloween section. Like, so I had to do that. And that little book is a ephemera book that I got a tutorial from Debbie Alley, and I'll try to find that one and link it down below. And it holds all my Doodlebug Halloween stuff, my Halloween ephemera and things like that. But that's kind of where my Halloween, most of my Halloween stuff is. I've got actually another bin over here for Halloween. Doesn't surprise you, does it? Okay, so moving on behind my desk, I'll show you kind of over here. Again, it still looks cluttered, but it's totally organized. Over here, I have some wooden crates that I'm not sure what to do with these things yet, but I'm going to figure that out. But for right now, things are put in there and good to go. And then over here are different kits that I have. So for example, the National Scrapbook Day was the last retreat that I did for Country Craft Creations. I was so sick I couldn't put anything together. I haven't even paper crafted for like 2 weeks. And I'm still getting over it. But anyway, I have like these kits and things like that. So again, more different IKEA stuff in my future to organize that and make it look more pretty, but it's all in one spot. And then this is my kind of partial junk journal on the left and sewing on the right, because I do have a sewing table and I do know how to sew. I don't do a lot, but I do some. And so I want to have my machine ready when, you know, I'm ready to do it. And then I do have one of the paper sewing machines from We Are Memory Keepers, and I need to practice with that because it's really kind of a cool idea, and I've got all the things to do with it, but I haven't practiced with it too much, so I need to work on that. But anyway, that's my sewing desk. Underneath there, under the curtain, I have some yarn things because I do knit and crochet, and then my sewing stuff and my knitting stuff and crochet stuff is up in those cupboards here. So then around the corner, I have my TV, and then this area over here in that TV stand, and then here is kind of my machine area. So I've got like my typewriter here. I have my old Cricut and Sizzix back there. Haven't just, or not Sizzix, my Silhouette. I haven't decided what to do with those because I got a new Sizzix. I said it again, a new Silhouette over by my desk. I'll show you that in a minute. But like my fuse and my Mink, and then I've got in here, I've got a laminator and some other things. So that's kind of like I kept all my machines in the same area, and I've got some of my pretties out, and yeah, just that's where I have some lace. And then like here is my computer desk. Okay, so this is the back side of my computer desk, and I have some shelves here, and then this is all some junk journal stuff too. So like I got like a lot of my stuff, like I have guest checks and tickets and bags and things like that in here, and then in here I have like coffee dyed papers and things like that, and then I have some various things in here. So I've got kind of my junk journal stuff all in one spot for a change instead of having it in like 12 different spots. And then in that blue box, I do have some stuff too. And then in the bin, I have some stuff I still have to put away. But that's that. And then my desk area is right here. And then I've got some traveler's notebooks that I have made in here. And you can't see in the cupboard, but there's more behind. And then like my planner stuff. But I still have, I have empty bins now. So I need to kind of sort through a little bit more. But there's my computer desk and my printer, my planner. It's where I sit. Afghan my mommy made me. And then behind my desk now it's all pretty, and these are like really old things that I made a long time ago that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, but I think they're going to get gone, because what I want to do is put my more current stuff, like the one I did for Country Craft Creations for the National Scrapbook retreat. So I want to put some more current things up. I've got another shelf above my closet that I cleared off, and I want to put more current projects up there. Um, so anyway, there's the door to my husband's man cave. I have some pictures hanging on that, and then like these are all patterns, crochet, knitting, some bookmaking books that I have, different things in my bookshelf. So yeah, that's kind of my room. It does look a bit cluttered to me still, but like I said, I've got an IKEA trip in my future, and I want to get some things and kind of streamline it a little bit better, but it is back to a usable situation, which is nice. So I'm going to go back to the door and then kind of pan around to my room, because like I said, it's, sorry for the dizzy, it's huge. It's absolutely a huge room. And now I've got all my stations like set up. And then on the door, I have some layouts that I made a long time ago. And my BFF Jackie and I used to go to Creative Keepsakes conventions, and got some pictures of us there. So she's always crafting with me. I love that. And then I got my mom, one of her birthday celebrations with us and our family. And then I have this one, my husband with our grandson Cooper, who's now 16. Love that picture. We were on the zoo train. I remember that. So anyway, yeah, that's my room. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. This is, I still have a lot of stuff. I can't believe how much I have purged. You guys should see I should throw a picture in here of the empty bins in my garage. Like the empty bins that I emptied that were in this room is ridiculous. But my space is organized and purged, and I actually have floor space now, which is nice. I didn't have that before. And yeah, so this is my little crafty home. So now I won't be ashamed to do a Zoom with anybody and have you see what's, you know, in my room, because it actually looks pretty now. All right, so thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. And yeah, when I get the IKEA thing done, then I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like with the new bins. All right, take care, stay crafty, and I will see you again soon. All right, bye-bye.